Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
You're locked on to Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, hour number 2 of the program. Always great to catch up every Tuesday with Kurt Helin, NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com. Hey, Kurt, only 3 games left for the Utah Jazz. Losers of 9 in a row. They want to go in with a 12-game losing skid to try to ensure that Oklahoma City stays away from that draft pick. But the long season is about to come here in Salt Lake City, and people are pretty fired up.
I would, yeah, exactly. I think that the fan base should be, because you're going to be adding a draft pick wherever it lands to what is a really nice core already with JJ coming in, getting Lauri Markkanen back, the way Keontae George has made a leap. There's a lot of reasons to be optimistic, even if you have to suffer through 140 whatever minutes left of maybe not the best basketball ever. The light at the end of the tunnel isn't an oncoming train this time. There's real reason for optimism, because this is going to be a much better and far more entertaining team next year. Whatever they end up shaking out like, it's going to be quality basketball.
So when you look at this Jazz team, at what point in the draft would you start drafting for position? Is it after 5, after 6? Let's say they end up with the 8th overall pick. Is there a certain level where it's like, okay, we're not just taking best player available anymore, we're going to start drafting by position? Or does that not even come into the equation at all?
It does a little bit. I will say most teams kind of operate on a tier system. So they will say, and I'll just use the top 3 guys as a hypothetical. If you say you have A.J. Debonsa and Cameron Boozer and Peterson all in the same tier, which I don't think most teams do. But hypothetically, if you've got them all in the same tier, then you're like, well, all right, what position helps us more? Where does this guy fit better? Which one of them fits better with our system? And where the Jazz most likely land in that, 5 through 8, wherever that lands, that's just a bunch of good point guards. And it becomes about, do you just like one of them more on the board? Do you end up liking Fleming more than Brown? Or is it, or if you've kind of got them all equal, then you're going for a position, or is there somebody else out there that you think is sneaky better, should be in that spot? So I think look, at the end of the day, what you don't want to do is go, man, we don't need Luka Doncic. We got De'Aaron Fox. We're good. Like you make those, the whole MJ and Sam Bowie thing with Clyde Drexler. Like, don't do that. Take the best player on the board. But if it comes down to like, hey, I got these guys really close, then you start to think about position and fit a little more. So it kind of depends on how their board shakes out.
Has AJ separated himself from everybody else at number 1?
On most boards, and I don't have a ton of. I haven't talked to every team by any stretch, but I will say most teams have him number 1 now, because the concern with Boozer is just athleticism, and look, he's going to be good. He has the highest floor of any of these guys. He's going to be a very good player in the NBA, but there's concerns about his athleticism and how he's going to, how that's going to work at the next level. And then obviously with Peterson and the health issues. And so Debonsa has just separated himself and like, hey man, like the ceiling for this guy is through the roof. And I trust him a little more than Peterson, but not every team is there. There's still some real Peterson fans out there. And I've read from other reports that there's other teams that would like, man, and kind of how safe does the GM feel in his job? Is he willing to take the risk, or is he like, Boozer's not going to be bad. I won't mess up Boozer. And again, you could try to argue, I don't know that it works in Utah, but like you could really argue that putting Boozer in the mix in that front line with Markin and Jaren Jackson Jr. and I'm going blank on center suddenly.
Kessler.
Thank you. I could not come up with Kessler. But if you put him in that mix, like instantly going to help you and put you in a position, even if he doesn't start, you get a lot more Dylan Harper in San Antonio, where I still think Dylan Harper might be the second best guy in this class 2-3 years from now. But he doesn't have to play. He's not even going to make the top. He's not going to be top 3 in Rookie of the Year voting. He's just not getting the run this year because they don't need him to.
All right. Speaking of Rookie of the Year, I know you're a voter, so I will ask you at the end of this because I want to persuade you and other voters. Cooper Flagg is going to have a remarkable career. He will be a perennial all-star. He'll have multiple MVPs. He'll probably win a title or two along the way. He's going to be great. He's going to be fantastic. He'll be considered one of the best players in the league at any given moment. Let Con have this one. Let Con Knipple have this. Cooper's going to get everything else. Give Con the Rookie of the Year.
Well, you didn't really have to convince me. I already had Con number 1.
Okay, good.
Just for because at the end of the day, for me, and I know that there's other people who are like try to look. I don't want to be the guy like, well, I wonder what this guy will be like in 5 years. I'm not a scout. I don't know that. I do agree with you. Look, I think Cooper is going to be the best player in this class 5 years from now, and you've kind of seen it lately, like the 50-point game the other night and stuff. Like he's going to be a monster. And Dallas lucked out and can build around him. But Con's been better this year, and in 2 key ways for me. Well, A, minutes played and games played. He's just played a bunch more. But B, he's more efficient as a scorer. He's just so efficient. And I think Flagg's efficiency will improve, but Con walked in the door doing this. And most important to me, when you're getting in this tight situation with Rookie of the Year, Con is playing meaningful minutes for a team going to the postseason. Like, these games matter to them. They are playing really well. They have a legit chance to actually maybe even climb out of the play-in still, although that's a little bit of a longer shot, but be a top 8 seed and make the playoffs. And, man, I want to see them in the playoffs. I want to see them they would make Detroit or Boston work for it in the first round. So,
yeah. But
he's played in these meaningful minutes, and that matters. That he has stepped up in those kind of things absolutely is key for me. So, yeah, I've got Con 1, Flagg 2, and VJ Edgecombe 3rd, and Dylan Harper is a lock, my other lock for first team All NBA, and then All Rookie. And then, honestly, I've got to sit down with them later this week and kind of parse out exactly where Ace and the other rookies I've got on that list fit in terms of All Rookie team.
So watching Denver and that great game against San Antonio, and then the crazy rally last night, is Denver playing their best basketball going into the playoffs? Yeah.
And I mean, we've had this conversation all season, Scotty, haven't we? Been like,
yeah.
If they get healthy, when they get right, watch out for this team. They're really dangerous. Well, they got right, and they're healthy. I mean, Peyton Watson was out the other night, but they are peaking at the right time. And you saw in this game where they came back, forced overtime, beat the Spurs. They're a legitimate threat to win it all. And it really puts a little more pressure on OKC, who's got what's left of the Lakers tonight and a couple other games that they want to win, because you don't want to be the 2-3 seed. That 2-3 battle in the West, not that, if you're 1-4, you're going to get probably Minnesota or Houston in the second round, and that's not a cakewalk, but man, I don't want Denver. I don't want Denver or San Antonio in that second round. You need to – that is 2 of the 3 best teams in the league playing in the second round, and it's going to be hard.
Kurt Helin, NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com, kind enough to join us here on the Zone for his weekly conversation. I think both sides tried to be as diplomatic as they possibly could, but we were always scorching towards an ugly ending in Milwaukee, and it certainly appears that this offseason, I know everybody tried to take the high road. They wanted the kids to be happy. Mom and dad weren't getting along, but they were trying to put on a good face. There's just no way this thing's going to end well.
No, it's not. And without going too far down the rabbit hole here because I don't, I'm not Shams. I don't have the sources he has. I don't know who he spoke to. And first off, it's not really a secret around the league that they've been pushing a little bit to get out, without Giannis wanting to say, I want out publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And he just didn't want to be that guy. And it was ownership that said, we get a better deal this summer. Let's sit on this. But it's now what's coming out. And again, this is largely, I think, fueled by the agent and Giannis's camp. It's over. It's done. They want out. They're going to go wherever they end up landing this summer, but it's going to be messy. And it's just time. It frankly was probably time a year or two ago, but they kept trying to stretch this out because if you're Milwaukee, I mean, when was the last time they had Kareem and then they had Giannis? Like, that's a pretty big gap in time. So you don't want to just throw that away because you don't know when you're going to get the next guy like that. So I kind of get where they were, but they may have hurt themselves and backed themselves. They backed themselves into a little bit of a corner because he's only got one, assuming he opts in, he's got 1 year left on that contract, or opts out, I mean. Well, now he's got a ton of leverage about where he goes, and you will not get the return you'd wanted to if you'd done this a summer ago.
Yeah, see, that's my thought, is that if you're Milwaukee, you kind of had a feeling where this was going. And even in this season, in the right before trade deadline, if you thought, well, we'll get more in the offseason, well, you roll the dice, and now the word's out that he wants out, and you're going to get pennies on the dollar. The one thing that the Jazz did a really good job with Donovan Mitchell, they knew Donovan wanted out, and they're like, okay, we're going to facilitate this, but you got to allow us to get the most out. Keep your mouth shut. We'll keep our mouth shut, and we'll get something done. But the more you talk, the less options we have. So just be cool, and we'll get this thing done. And that's what they did, and the Jazz were able to get a nice haul for him.
Exactly. And if you can keep those things amicable as relatively as they're going to be, then two things happen. A, like you said, you just get more back, right? And Cleveland was not on the top of Donovan's list, but then you go and, hey, man, you're going to go to a team where you can help them contend. That really hasn't panned out exactly like they hoped yet. But, by the way, they've still got a real path. Donovan and them if they finish fourth, they've got a real path to the Eastern Conference Finals. But you're going to go to this better team, and it might not have been a team on his list, but you can sell him on the opportunity. Where now, like you said, this is bad with Giannis, and he's going to really dictate whether it's New York or Miami or whatever. But it's going to be much harder to pull in the unexpected team with the larger offer at this point. Like, I just don't know where. I don't know where that's going to come from that he's going to agree to, because now he's got a lot of leverage in this situation, and he's not exactly inclined to be nice to them at this point.
Nope, no, sir. I know you've got an MVP vote. Is it still Shea, or is Wemby creeping up? How do you have those guys?
I got Bronny first. Bronny James. And then, no.
That's why we love you, Kurt.
Yeah, I have Shea 1, Wemby 2, probably Jokic 3 now with Luka missing a little time. I had that flipped, but I'll probably flip them back. And we'll see if Luka's even on the board. I got a feeling he's going to get granted this exceptional situation whatever the term is, for allowing him to stay in the mix with 64 games, just because if the league is going to say, I'm sorry you went to be with the birth of your child, that's not good enough. That's a bad – there's bad PR coming with that one. So I think he gets in, and then in that case he ends up probably fourth on my ballot. He probably finishes fourth or fifth, and Jalen's in the mix. If he leaves, honestly, now it comes back to your boy Donovan Mitchell or Kawhi for that fifth spot, which would be interesting. Yeah,
interesting. Kurt Helin joining us, NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com. We've all, you and I think we've compared Detroit a lot to the Jazz a few years ago when they were the number 1 seed, but nobody really took them seriously as an NBA potential champion. We kind of look at the Pistons the same way, but if Cunningham comes back and he's relatively healthy, do you up the odds on them quite a bit?
A little bit, in the sense that I just trust their defense so much. They have been so – look, they've gone – well, I think it's 8-3 now, but 8-2 with him in the games that mattered. They lost the other night, but they've now locked up the number 1 seed. So at that point, anything that happens, I don't take too seriously. I think their defense can get them through for a while, but I still think at the end of the day, not having a high-level second shot creator could be an issue. I guess the question becomes, and Dennis Jenkins has been really good. Is he suddenly capable of being that guy, and we just didn't expect it? We were like, they need to go get that second shot creator. Maybe they had it on the roster, and they didn't know it. We didn't know it, and now they do. It's interesting in an East where, the second round matchup, I think there's a kind of clear delineation in the East between, as much as like it's fun to fantasize about what Philadelphia could be or whatever. I think there's a pretty clear delineation between the top four and the rest of the conference. So if it's Cleveland and Detroit in the second round, and we're like, maybe Cleveland can get the upset there. Maybe not. Maybe Detroit's just too good for them. And I still think Boston, though, is it just me? Like right now, it feels like Boston is, I don't know if it's head and shoulders, but head better than
I'm with you.
They're just better than everybody right now.
So Billy Donovan stays put in Chicago, and whether or not North Carolina went after him or not, it does appear that there's something going on there because he stays and they clean house in the front office. Were those events related in some way, shape, or form?
A little bit, yeah. First off, do you like Mike Malone in UNC?
It is going to be a colossal dumpster fire that I cannot wait to watch. It's like Bill Belichick 2.0.
It very well could be. I'm curious. Here's the thing. My interactions with Mike Malone, my sense of him is he's going to enjoy the control, the ability to be a little dictator that you get as a college, you can be as a college coach. You have so much more control and say and power than you do as an NBA head coach, and like in terms of players, in terms of some, to a degree, in terms of stuff. But that man's a yeller. Yeah, and that's an in-your-face guy, and I am not sure how that's going to play out over time in college. It's going to be. I'm curious because I'd like his X's and O's are great. The question isn't can he coach, but can he coach college? Is like. Yeah, it has dumpster fire potential, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it might work too, but there's a couple things, and I'm just going by a couple local guys here. Kevin Young, who was with Phoenix, is now the coach at BYU, and they've had so much talent there that they've been successful, but even he's talked about how hard it was to adjust to the spacing of the game and how congested the college game is compared to the NBA. And then Alex Jensen, who obviously a long time with the Jazz, now with the University of Utah, said the same thing. I think NBA coaches have a hard time coming down and coaching this because they're used to the game being a lot more fluid, and there's a lot more sets and things that you have to install for college kids. Plus, and I mean this with nothing but love, college kids are kind of dumb. And they do stupid things.
Oh, yeah. No,
and you have to coach them nonstop.
As you know, I live, a golf shot away from the pyramid at Long Beach State. And I go to some games there just to have a beer and watch a game and just watch basketball as a fan and not have to stress about, whatever. And my wife keeps punching me in the arm because I keep thinking like out loud, I'm like, why did you, don't you see the open guy? Oh, okay. So there's going to be some of that. And also, I think the spacing thing is a really good salient point. I hadn't really thought about that. But you know what helps your spacing? Nikola Jokic. So it really improves your spacing considerably to have the best player on the planet. So that will help. As for the Bulls, by the way, to round back to the question, Donovan didn't want to tank. Ownership doesn't want to tank. They're kind of on the treadmill of mediocrity, stuck in the middle, where they keep winning 38 to 44 games and never getting very far they're not good enough to go anywhere in the playoffs or even get out of the play-in half the time, but they're also not bad enough to have a high draft pick, so they're just kind of stuck in the middle. I don't know how we'll see if a new GM can really change that dynamic. They've got some cap space this summer, but at the end of the day, they need a lot more talent, and if they're not going to tank and they're not going to get it through the draft and they're not going to go into the tax because the owner won't do that either, I'm not sure that it matters. But Donovan and ownership are on the same page, and the GM wanted to tank a little, and here we are.
And there you go. You got a couple of guys out of a job. Hey, Kurt, we appreciate it, man. Great stuff as always. Thanks for your time, and let's do it again here very soon.
I look forward to it. Take care, Scotty.
You got it. Kurt Helin, NBC Sports, ProBasketballTalk.com, one of the best dudes out there, covers the game as good as anybody else, and joins us every Tuesday right here on The Zone. All right, we are live at My Hearing Center. Matt's with us, and all right, so let's talk about the technology. One thing I love about mine, and look, my hearing aids are like, I want to say maybe 4 years old, but I've got the Bluetooth, so if I'm in the car and you got a lot of people talking and you would rather just focus on the road, you can run music through that. You can run your TV through them. If you're sitting in your ecclesiastical services and you're a little bored, you can pop on The Zone and listen to the latest podcast. Not that I would suggest that.
Well, you should listen to the latest podcast. Maybe not then.
Maybe not in that 2-hour block.
That's right.
We do have them in nice 25-minute chunks, though, so that might help out with the. Never mind. But when you've got opportunities out there to really not just hear better, but improve your overall quality of life with these things.
It really does become a big part of your life in terms of how you can use it. If technology is something you like to lean into, certainly it has the technology that you're talking about. It's got the longest lasting battery, the smallest Bluetooth availability. So we can make it work for you if that's what you're interested in. We've got an app that actually has an audiology assistant. If you're ever in a difficult situation where you're having a hard time picking up the understanding, you can tell the assistant, and it'll make adjustments on your hearing aid right there at hoc, and send those adjustments back to us. So when you come back into the office, we can fine tune what the AI did. So a lot of really cool things technologically. If you're like other patients that we have that have fear of technology, it can do the opposite. It can just be fully self-contained, make its adjustments on its own. You never have to touch it. You never have to worry about it. So anywhere from full access to limited adjustments, we can make it work for you. And that's what's really fun about the technology now, is that we can handcraft the experience specifically for the user.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you go with My Hearing Center, it's not that you're going to hand a couple of hearing aids to somebody and then boot them out the door and say, get out of here. I mean, the constant evaluation, the constant upgrading, the constant hey, let's fine tweak this, let's do this, because ultimately you want it to be successful because you want people to use them. You don't want people like, okay, this wasn't for me, and you pop them out and you leave them on the nightstand for a year or two. No,
in fact, we have a very liberal return policy. If you're not happy with your hearing aids within the trial period, you can bring them back at full refund. So and we only charge for our services. We use hearing aids as the tool to get to the results. Right? It's not we're selling tools. We're trying to sell the service and everything else that comes with it. And the reality is, hearing loss is a little different than like your vision loss. Or vision loss, you put your eyeglasses on, you pretty much just boom, you're seeing better that quick. With hearing loss, we actually have to retrain the brain to understand and process the sounds that you have been hearing for years and years and years, and that can take time. And some people, they'll get it really quickly. 2 weeks into it, they got it, brain's adapted, they love the hearing aids. Other patients we've had to go up to 6 months before they're really full benefiting from the hearing aids. And all the follow-up that happens between those, the first fit all the way up to 6 months. And so wherever you lie, we're going to find a therapy plan that's going to work best for your needs.
I love this. 801-438-7058. So you come in, you get the hearing test absolutely free.
Yep. Free hearing test. At the end of the hearing test, if you have hearing loss, we'll let you try the hearing aids risk-free for 30 days. We use the information that we get back from the hearing aids to help other people and also to make things better for you. We've gotten really good at these ones now. So the BTCIX premium technology, want you to come and try it at the end of the 30-day risk-free trial. We also want to give you a gift card to get some movie tickets as well.
You even have hands-free calling capabilities in these things?
Yeah, I'll show you how.
Wow, that's no joke. 801-438-7058. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
It is your good, it is your bad, it is your ugly. Part of the good, we got another pair of tickets. It's the last home game of the season for the Utah Jazz. I got a pair of tickets right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. You'll win a pair of tickets, see the Jazz and Grizzlies. Again, final home game of the season on April 10th. Game will tip off at 7:30. You want those tickets? Be caller number 12 right now. Again, 801-575-ZONE. All right. Let's start with the good, as Lloyd's guy Fernando Mendoza making an announcement today. He is out of the draft. I mean, he's not going to the draft.
Finish it. Okay, thank you. Finish the news. He's not pulling his name out of the draft. He's not going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to the draft.
I think that he saw the Raiders and said, you know what? I'm going to try to get an extra year of eligibility, and we'll run it back. No, he's just not going to attend, which, either way, I respect this. Look, we all know he's going to go number 1 overall. We all know that he wants as limited face time with the Raiders as possible, so what better way than to just hang out at home, bring in the cameras, and he can hang out with his family in Miami and enjoy it at home. Says that he wants to enjoy this with his family instead of going to New York. Or excuse me, not New York. Where is the draft this year? In Pittsburgh.
Okay,
it's in Pittsburgh.
I should know this.
Yeah. I'm still stuck where it's in New York every year, but no, it's in Pittsburgh, which may be another reason why he didn't really want to go to the draft, because who really wants to go to Pittsburgh?
Well, word is he's already studying the Raiders playbook, and he's ready to go. So I'm fine with him not going.
So play 1, take the sack. Number 2, throw an interception.
If you're Geno Smith, yes, that is your play right there. Take the sack. You only have like 2 or 3 seconds to react and hurry up and get rid of it. And if you could throw it to the other team, that would be recommended. Or hand it to Genty.
Yeah, let Ashton get beat up, because what does he have? I'm sure he has 15 years left in his career. He's the new Marcus Allen. He'll play till he's 42. No, you got limited moments with him. So all right. So look, I think he's got a chance to be really good. I know I give you grief, Lloyd, but this is an actual.
You are doing the reverse psychology right now. I know what you're doing.
This is a can't screw up moment for the Raiders. You bring in a great quarterback. If you can protect him, that's great. You got a really good running back, and you got one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Like, there's no way this goes poorly for you. Like, this looks great.
I could think of a million ways that it could go poorly, but that's okay. You know what? You got to start somewhere. To be honest with you, I've become the empathy has hit me with the Raiders. Like, I'm just like, well. There was a time where it was like, okay, this is our year. Every year I could do that. And even though it wasn't, I had that feeling. And finally, I have a really good feeling. I mean, last year's feeling was only like 7 wins. Like, okay, just get to 7 wins. I feel like the Raiders could get to 7 wins. But that did not happen. But this year, it's like everything feels like it's building the right way. Like it really does. They're bolstering the offensive line. You already have Genty. You have a great tight end, as you talked about. You brought in Kirk Cousins to mentor your number 1 overall pick. In fact, a quarterback that is so similar to Fernando Mendoza. It's like they're twins.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe not in the playing way, but in the spiritual way.
Okay. Look, I know you are dying to have some moral compass on your team, and if it's Kirk Cousins, good for you, man. That's great.
I'm fine. I'm good with it. And it's like $1.3 million going against their salary cap this year. Like, it was such a smart move. It was such a great move. Like, I'm fine with it.
He's not getting any of that bonus money because, I mean, let's be honest, he better not be out on the field that much.
No.
If it is, that's because something really
Give
bad
it half
happened.
the season. You got about, let's just call it, give him maybe 7 games.
Okay, so let's talk about this, though. Like, let's say that they're 500. How do you pull the plug on a quarterback that's actually doing relatively well for you? So either he crashes it into the ground and he's horrible and it makes it really easy, but that means you really stink, and so you're already behind the 8 ball. But if he's playing reasonably well, what can you really pull the plug on this kid?
No.
And then at that point, you've got veterans in the locker room like, oh, we're giving up on the season already?
Yeah,
and
I gotcha.
It creates problems. Like, I don't know.
Thing is, I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to come in and be. He's on the down. He's on the downward trend, anyways. Like,
but it'll be good enough.
He will be good enough, yes. But still, the future is Fernando Mendoza.
Yes, I agree.
And I think that the best part about Kirk Cousins is he understands who he is now. Like, you probably won't find a more outside of all the guaranteed money he takes. You won't find a more unselfish guy.
Yeah. All right, there's your good. Let's get to the bad.
Now the bad.
Well, we all remember the 85 defense of the Chicago Bears. Steve McMichael, who passed away a year ago after dealing with ALS and just really ravaged the last years of his life, has been diagnosed after multiple tests after he passed away a year ago with a serious CTE condition. And now his wife, Misty McMichael, is trying to raise the flag a bit, saying too many NFL players are developing ALS during life and diagnosed with CTE after death. I donated Steve's brain to inspire new research into the link between them. And apparently this is something that continues to get some evidence, according to a Dr. Ann McKee, director of the Boston University CTE Center. 6% of individuals with CTE also have ALS. So that's 6 out of 100 that have CTE also develop ALS. There's strong evidence linking repeated brain trauma and ALS. Yeah, you know what? It's something, when you see how great Steve McMichael was back in the day and what a powerful force he was, and to see how his life ended just miserably for one of the best players in the on that 85 Bears team, it breaks your heart. It really does. This guy was just an absolute beast for that Bears defense, and taken way too soon with ALS, and according to his wife, also with a nasty case of CTE as well. All right, take a break. Come back. We'll set the scene. In the 2 o'clock hour, you will hear from the general manager of the Utah Mammoth, Bill Armstrong, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.